Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So today we're going to be talking about all the types of homes that are available when you use your VA loan. So what types of properties that you can buy, what properties are eligible. We're going to go into the details about each and every single property that is available out there when it comes to using the VA loan. So in all actuality, to me, as someone who's done, hundreds of VA loans over the last 8 years, one of the things I love about the VA loan is the flexibility in property eligibility when it comes to the VA loan itself. Because there's so much more flexibility. A lot of people think it's a lot more, a lot less is allowed when it comes to properties, when it comes to the VA loan. But overall, I think the VA loan has the most flexibility. Now, I will say about 10 or 15 years ago, VA loans weren't as good when it came to property specific things. And there's a lot of bad information out there. And also, you have to consider lender overlays when it comes to property eligibility. So, I think I'm pretty sure I did a blog post about this about lender overlays, and you guys can go into what those are. But specifically, some lenders might have extra requirements on certain property types. So it may not be sometimes when you're getting denied based on the property specifically, it might actually be a lender requirement, not a VA loan requirement. Lenders are allowed to add extra requirements if they choose to, and most times they do, and they have dozens of them. It's really hard to keep track. But the main thing with this is that the VA loan itself, how the VA home loan is written in the VA lender's handbook, is that the property eligibility requirements are pretty flexible compared to all the other home loan programs. So if we're getting right into it, let me kind of share my screen so you guys can see the list of homes or types of homes that are eligible when it comes to using your VA loan. So the most common type of home is called a single family residence, right? Single family residence is just a one unit home, one door, and it goes to the rest of the house, right? So these are your most common types of properties that you're most likely looking, right? This is on one house, on one piece of property, one door, one unit, and that's it. Now, these types of properties are the most common types of examples, but the one question I get a lot is, does the age matter? It doesn't. Actually, the age does not matter for these single family homes, especially if they're stick built specifically. If they're site built, stick built, generally these single family homes do not have an age requirement. I've helped a client buy a 1900s a house, and it was fine. The main thing when it comes to the condition of these properties based on their age is that as long as it's in livable, habitable conditions, then it's fine. Now, it has to have all the requirements of a home, like the floor can't be missing, subfloor can't be missing, the cabinets got to be in place. Pretty much everything has to be in place. The condition of those things could be outdated, it could look old. As long as it's in, workable shape, it's fine. It doesn't necessarily need to be cosmetically updated or has to be the newest thing. None of that, right? It could be the old flooring, it could be the old cabinets. As long as they're all in, workable condition, the doors aren't hanging, it's fine. So that's one big thing when it comes to single families that I get a lot of questions about. As long as everything is visually and obviously safe, that's the main thing. I think the best example a realtor has given me was that if you would let your 7-year-old run around the house for about 5 to 10 minutes, then it's going to be the house is fine. The next thing I want to chat about is multifamily. Multifamily is a really cool way to invest in real estate using your VA home loan. A lot of people out there call this house hacking. I am personally not a huge fan of that term because it's not really hacking anything. It is allowed. It's completely allowed. You're not like bypassing anything. You're not going into the gray. This is completely allowed, and it's very specific about that in the VA lender's handbook. To me, the word house hacking it doesn't make any sense because you're not hacking anything. But what's cool about multifamily is that when it comes to the VA loan is that you just got to live in one of the units. Now, per the VA lender's handbook, a duplex, a triplex, a fourplex are all allowed. Technically, there is one business unit that is allowed as well. So, for example, if you got a fourplex and then there's an additional business unit, technically making a 5 unit, that is allowed per the VA home loan. Now, this is all in theory. I never actually tested it myself, but that is very specific in the VA lender's handbook that one business unit is allowed. Now, what's cool about these multifamilies is that, of course, you have to live in one unit. So if you get a fourplex, you have to live in one unit. Then the other 3 units can be rented out. Now, what I mentioned about the cool thing is when you buy it. What's cool about buying multifamily is that we can use some of the prospected rent, the rent analysis to help you qualify and bring down that mortgage payment. So, for example, if each of these units, let's say it's a fourplex, and there's the other three units that haven't been rented out, but the market rent says that these can be rented out for about $1,100 a month each, right? Total, it's about $3,300 because there's three units and you have to live in one. Well, we can use about 75% of that $3,300 and apply it to the mortgage payment so we can qualify you for a lower mortgage payment per the file. So that's what's cool. I've one situation where I have seen clients in this that are able to buy multifamily more so than they can buy single families because for some reason they have a lot of assets, they have really low income assets, and they have a lot of money in the bank. And because they have low income, multifamily might be a really good option because we can use the rent to bring down that mortgage payment to qualify them for that lower mortgage payment. But the other thing when it comes to multifamily, what I did mention is that you must have 6 months of mortgage payments in reserves, which means is that if the mortgage payment on, let's say that fourplex is $4,000, you must have $24,000 in savings after closing. And that's just one of those things that just gets added just so you make sure that nothing's wrong. And honestly, if you do have a property like this, you should have at least 6 months of reserves anyway. So that's what's really cool about multifamily is you can use the prospective rents to help you qualify for that lower mortgage payment. Another thing that we have to consider is that if you don't have any property management experience, we may have to count property management expenses against you. Okay, so that's one of the things when it comes to multifamily. It could really work really well for a lot of people. I personally did this with a duplex that I bought like 6 years ago, and it worked out really well, right? Because over time, your rent goes up every year. You're supposed to raise your rent every year, about 5 to 10%. And the other thing is that you raise the rent, and then when you move out, you keep it on a VA loan and you can rent out that fourth unit. And if you did the numbers right, you should be profiting at this point. The other thing to consider is that down the line, let's say rates get better, you can do what's called a VA stream interest rate reduction refinance loan, and that could lower your rate, which would lower your mortgage payment, which allows you to profit more. And I did that same thing with my duplex as well. After I bought it, I moved out. I was able to refinance on that streamlined Earl, and it actually saved me about $250 a month, which made me $250 a month. So it's something really cool about multifamily, really great option. But the thing you have to consider is that ADUs don't count toward this. So if you're trying to use the rent on an ADU, we can't do it. It's still considered single family. Condos, specifically with condos, they must be VA approved. This is through a VA database. How this works is this condo association for the entire project applies to go through the VA approval process, and the VA will go through the documents that are required to kind of verify where the condo is at. It's almost like a pre-approval process with the condo specifically, just to make sure they're financially fit, they don't have any lawsuits, things like that, and they can apply for their VA approval. Most common, generally, I would say just generally, condos need to be VA approved in order for a VA client to buy a condo in that project. Now, I have been in situations where I've helped clients in like Manhattan who are trying to buy a condo in New York, and the situation was that the condo project actually got denied through the process. However, the VA actually gave that VA client a waiver to make it. They wouldn't make it VA approved, but they waived it and allowed the veteran to still buy the house with a VA loan anyway. So condos are great. Condo was my very first house. As someone who is active duty and single, I think condos are great because of the amount of maintenance is required. It's very extremely little. You don't have to worry about any of the exterior stuff because that's all on the condo project. And you only have to worry about the inside walls, which is a heck of a lot better to manage while you're deployed, going in and out of maybe underways or deployments, whatever have you. I think condos are probably the best thing to have if you are a single active duty military personnel. Townhomes they're treated pretty much like single family residences. Typically, they don't have to go through any kind of approval process. The only time they do is because the townhome is actually a condo. So there are some situations where even though it looks like a townhome, it's actually a condo. It's just how it's titled and how they structured it. I can't explain how that works, but you see this a lot in California, is where these homes, these two-story homes that are townhomes, townhome looking, they're actually condos. If they are condos or if they are titled as condos, they have to be VA approved. Now, the biggest one that I get a lot, and a lot of people get confused about, is manufactured homes. Manufactured homes, not mobile homes on land. They are the same type of structure, but those are on a different piece of property. Manufactured homes on land are actual homes. They're basically single family residences, but the building is a manufactured home or a mobile home. Now with these, there's a lot of lenders that can't do these homes at all, or they have specific year requirements. Per the VA lender's handbook, this is what is allowed, as long as the manufactured home was built after 1976, then it's fine. I think it's like June 16th or something. But if it's built after that time, it's younger than that, it will go. I've done a 1977 manufactured home. The main thing is it's tied to the property and it's taxed with the land. That's the main thing. And it's yeah, and the foundation is all set. It's proper tie downs or poured foundation, all that stuff. It just needs to be greater than 400 square feet, and single wides up to triple wides are all fine. I actually did a single wide last year, and it was just the same process. Nothing different, nothing changed. So manufactured homes, to me, with the VA loan the VA loan has the most flexibility in manufactured homes compared to any other home loan program. These are really great nowadays because if you bought a manufactured home after say 2000 2010, these homes are built even better than the new construction homes that are out now. So these and they look pretty good. There are some manufactured homes that it's really hard to tell if it's a Rambler or it's a manufactured home, and sometimes it's hard to tell if a Rambler is a manufactured home or not. So these manufactured homes are really great when it comes to this, just because they're generally taxed a little bit lower. There was a time where manufactured homes for the same size stick built was about $50,000 lower, but nowadays, because of their popularity, because of the lack of inventory, they cost as much as a stick built home. And I even helped a client buy a $770,000 manufactured home once. It was a super nice property, detached garage, wraparound deck, triple wide. It was really, really good looking property. So manufactured homes are really great. I wouldn't pass off on it, especially if it's newer than 2000. So that's something to consider. But manufactured homes, that's the true requirements when it comes to those types of properties. Custom construction. All right. So there is a VA custom construction loan, and it does exist. This includes the cost of buying the land and the building and everything in between. Not to get this confused with new construction or those homes in developments with builders and things like that. New construction is a lot like single family residences. You're just waiting for the house to be done. For those types of homes, you can use your VA loan with those, but keep in mind it is not custom construction and not anywhere close. Custom construction is you getting your own builder on your own piece of land and you're making every decision. The best way I can pretty much describe this process between this custom construction and new construction is it's a lot like when you want you can go on, when you go on your website and you want to kind of build your own dream car. Let's say you go to like a BMW website and you kind of build your ideal car and all that stuff. That's new construction, right? They already have the model out. All you do is adjust some luxuries and colors and things like that, and then it essentially gets found or built for you, and then that's it. That's new construction. You're just waiting for the car to be done. Custom construction is, imagine if you had to design a car from the bottom to the top, every nut, every bolt, every wire, every display, to the color, to the design, everything. You're involved with every single aspect. I would highly not recommend this process for clients who have never bought a home before. I would highly recommend doing this when you've had some experience as a homeowner. And the thing with custom construction is that it's not, it's good. There's going to be some money out of pocket. The VA custom construction loan does allow you to go zero down between buying the land and building and some of the stuff in between. But the tough thing about that process is that there's a bunch of stuff that you may have to pay out of pocket leading up before the builder actually takes over on everything. So how this would work is that you are shopping for, let's say you don't have a piece of land. This is when you're shopping for land and you go and you figure out some of the custom construction loan numbers, payments, all that stuff. You submit an offer on the land, and then from there you go through the process of figuring out if the land can even be built on before the builder can take over. So all that stuff, all the testing, all the utilities, all have to be figured out before the builder makes their builder contract, and then whatever's in the builder contract can be put into the loan. All the stuff before has to be out of pocket. So, for example, in Washington State, there's a generally what my builders have told me is that you need to have about $30,000 to $50,000 because you may have to drill your own well. The reason why you have to drill your own well is that you must have running water to a property before you apply for a builder's permit. So, and you may be doing this on a property you don't technically own yet. So this all this money comes out of pocket. So that's something to consider when you're doing custom construction. I'll do a specific post specifically for custom construction a little bit later, but just want to give you guys a quick synopsis on all the types of properties that are eligible for the VA loan. The main thing is, when it comes to appraisal requirements and things like that, we're really looking to make sure if it has value and it's safe. That's the main thing, value and safetiness. Value is determined on the similar homes that have sold recently, like the home you're looking at, and safetiness is just making sure that the home is intact. So hopefully this gave you guys a pretty good insight as to all the types of homes that are available with the VA loan, and you guys are able to kind of understand what you're getting yourself into when you're going shopping, what types of homes are eligible out there. Maybe you're already looking at a specific home and wondering if it can go VA loan or not. The main thing again is it's not a major fixer-upper. It can be outdated, but not a fixer-upper. There is a VA renovation loan for that. I'll make that a separate post, but something to consider when you're out there shopping, looking for the type of homes that are available out there. And hopefully I dispelled some myths or some bad information that was put out there. The main one is always age of the home, and manufactured homes. So hopefully that gave you guys a lot of clarity. That's all I got for you guys. Nuke out.